right, good morning everyone. And presenting for us this morning for AutoCAD Electrical, we have Chad Arthurholst, who comes to us with over 13 years experience with the product, so quite extensive knowledge. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Chad to kick us off.
Good morning, everybody. So today we're going to be showing you doing some controls design with AutoCAD Electrical. Let's just go ahead and jump right on in. So AutoCAD Electrical was designed by a controls engineer with the express purpose of making controls design easier for the electrical engineer. So the first thing I want to show you guys how to do, pretty simple. What you're going to do with most controls is you need to have the ability to put in wires. Putting in a wire is very simple. You come up here, select the Insert Wire command, and then it's just a matter of selecting your connection points of where you want your wire to go in at. Very simple, just like so. Drag and drop your wires just in. Notice I didn't have to be right on the connection point, and it automatically made my connections for me, and it automatically put in these nice connection dots for me. This is, of course, configurable, so if you don't want a connection dot, there's some other options, angled markers and things like that, that we are able to do as well. So besides just manually drawing in wires, you also have the ability to actually, since I'm dealing with a ladder here, to add rungs to a wire just by selecting the Add Rung command. And again, I just have to be close. The program's intelligent enough to know that as long as I click somewhere close by, it'll put a ladder rung in wherever it might need it. Very nice, handy little utility. Now, I drew some extra wires here that I didn't really need, so I'm going to trim this wire up. To do that, I can come up here and select the Trim Wire command, or I can also right-click. One second. I can right-click on the wire, and it'll give me a list of commands that are available specifically for dealing with wires. If I right-click over a component, it gives me a list of commands specifically just for a component. So in this case, I want to select Trim Wire, and it trims it away. Notice when I do the trim, it automatically takes out my connection dots. It just manages all of that in the background for me. The idea is simply you want to have less work to have to do manually. All those little things that just drive you crazy dealing with base AutoCAD, Electrical takes care of those for you. So, all right, so let's go ahead and draw up my control circuit some more, insert some more wires. Oops, missed my connection point there. So there is a certain trap distance you need to be within when you're working with AutoCAD Electrical. Typically we don't use O-snaps at all. Just as long as you're close enough to that certain trap distance, it will notice those connection points for you. All right, so trim this wire away here. Hands are a little jittery this morning. Apparently I've had too much caffeine. So now to insert a component, for inserting of schematic components, you're going to come off of my schematic tab up here to my icon menu, and you'll see there's a bunch of different components in here and available for you to work with inside of AutoCAD Electrical. They're all broken into various subfolders, and inside the subfolders you'll sometimes have additional subfolders drilling further down in. So all of it has this nice Windows Explorer tree style browser over here to the left. It will also show you all the recently used components, so if you keep using the same component over and over again, you don't have to reselect everything. You can just come right back in here. But once you find whatever component it is you want to put in, so let's have this mushroom head normally open push button, you can go ahead and drop it into place. Once you do, it's going to automatically tag it and give it a component tag based off of whatever settings you have, and also according to your drawing could be line reference based or sequentially based. So then you can come in and give it a line of description text. Let's see here. So you can manually type in your lines of description text, or you can actually come in and pick from this defaults list right here that is an editable file. So if you have common things that you keep using over and over again as lines of description text, you can edit this file so that you have them all right in here, so you don't have to retype them time in and time out, just saving you a little bit of time. So the next thing I need to do is come in and do a catalog lookup to apply catalog data to this. So once I hit lookup, it's going to drop me into my catalog browser. Inside my catalog browser, I can select any of these items, but if I don't want a red push button, say I wanted a green one instead, and I don't want just a 30.5 millimeter, I want any size green mushroom-headed push buttons from Allen Bradley. So I hit search, it hits up my database, and it shows me all of the available styles that meet my conditions of what I wanted there. So in this case, I'm just going to select this jumbo mushroom push button and say OK. It copies the information over automatically for me. Now, if there were pins associated with this particular catalog component, say in the case of a coil and the relay coil and its contacts, it would copy that pin information over as well. So installation and location code I can then fill out. These are just further allow you to determine or to classify your block as to where it belongs in the machine. So I'm going to pull up my project list of locations and say this belongs in operator station 3. Now, once I'm finished, I can select OK or OK and repeat. A lot of you might be saying, as I'm filling out all this information, it's a lot of information to fill out. Why are you doing it? It's because it really does, it gives you major advantages on the back end once we start talking about things like reporting and the various tools that are available inside of electrical. So I'm going to just go ahead and say OK here at this point in time. And I'm going to drop in some other components just to show you some of the features and abilities that electrical has to it. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually put in a relay coil, sorry, and I'm going to try and specifically break it. So I'm going to do a catalog lookup, and I'm going to select this relay that only has 2 available contacts to it. So notice again pin numbers coming in just like I said they would. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in here and try and insert 3 different contacts. Just follow along with me and realize that I know this isn't electrically intelligent or electrically correct. I'm just demonstrating the features to show you guys what it can do. So under the icon menu, relays and contacts again, I'm just going to select a normally open contact and drop it into place. Now once it's into place, I can either pull from the project list, pull from the drawing list, or just hit the parent sibling button and select the parent block if it's on the same drawing as what I'm currently on. So that drops in just fine. Now I'm going to drop in a second one. Again, pin numbers come across just fine. As you'll remember, I chose a 2 contact. A 2 contact relay, so now if I go to drop in a third one and try and link it back to this parent, it will then prompt me and say, hey, you've already used 2 contacts, it's only got a total of 2 convertible contacts on this block. What do you want to do? You can say ignore limit. The program will allow you to ignore it and just push forward. Will cause you issues on the back end. I do not suggest that. You've also got the option of cancel. What cancel will do is just cancels the command, the insert command of this most recent component. And then finally cancel insert. And what cancel insert does is actually will take you to wherever the parent component is, so you could then insert an auxiliary contact block or add or change the catalog information, whatever it might be, so that you can accommodate your extra contacts. So, but in this case, I'm just going to hit cancel and go ahead and get rid of it. Now, like I said before, not electrically intelligent, so I want to get rid of this stuff. So the simplest way to do that, right-click on the component and actually just select Delete Component. One of the beautiful things I love about AutoCAD Electrical is it will go in here and heal all that for you. It deletes the component, heals the wires back together, fixes it all very quickly and easily. There's no stretch line to deal with, anything like that that you might be doing inside of base AutoCAD right now. So go ahead, I'll put in a pilot light here. Let's put this green light in here. So you're going to just go ahead and drop in a light here. Close off that short, basically. Now, if you want to go in and change wire types, it's very simple and easy to do. Based upon your drawing, you have the ability to create and edit new wire types, and you can also change and convert your current wire type. So say I wanted this to be a red wire instead of the black wire that it currently is. Just have to select it, and it will actually map out my entire network and pick the component correctly for me, or pick all the wires and change them for me correctly from here. So now, as I was going through here and doing this, you might be like, well, you have a circuit right up here that's basically exactly what you need. You just need to throw some changes to it. How about reusing data instead of recreating it every single time? And you can do that using the copy circuit command, which is available right here under the Edit Components panel. So once you select copy circuit, it's then just a matter of doing a window selector on everything you want to copy. Make sure you do a window select instead of a crossing window, because you don't want to get the rails to the ladder as well. So once you do that window, you can then come in and select your base point of displacement. I am going to use my O-snap overrides here, though, to make sure I get it right on the end point of the wire. And it's very simply a matter of just copying and pasting it, moving it down to the next location where you want it to go. Once you are finished, you can then just right-click, and it will go through and re-tag all of your components on that particular section to update them correctly. Notice the green wire numbers here. Those do come in as question marks for any copied components until you go in and run the automatic wire number command, at which point in time they will update. Speaking of actually running wire numbers, super easy. Just select wire number, select whether you want to do all the new numbers or do a retag of everything. If you do a retag of everything, you then get to tell it whether you want it to do it project-wide or drawing-wide or just pick individual wires. So I'm going to go ahead and do this very quickly project-wide just so you can see how quick and easy it is to put in wire numbers everywhere throughout the entire project. So I'm going to select project-wide and just say OK. I can say process all of my drawings in my entire project and then just say OK. It'll want to save the drawing from any changes that may have been made because it's going to open and close a bunch of drawings in the background here. And once it does, you sit and let it run for just a few seconds. And as you can see, it goes through and automatically updates all your wires, all of your wire numbers throughout the entire project for you, including using source and destination arrows to be able to carry one wire number from one page to another. So next I'm going to hop over to my next page here and show you how easy it is to insert a ladder and just start completely from fresh. So I want to put in a ladder. To insert a ladder, I just come over here and select the Insert Ladder command. I can type in my width of my ladder. In this case, I want it to be to 10 inches wide, and I can set my spacing to be whatever I want it to be. It's going to automatically read my project and see what the last ladder reference I used in my project was, and it's going to increment that ladder number by 1 so that I can go ahead and have that number right there. You do have an option to tell it a fixed length or a fixed number of rungs you want to put in, but you don't have to fill in either of those pieces of information. So then you just have to tell it whether you want to put in a single-phase ladder or a three-phase ladder. With the single-phase ladder, you have some other options here, but once you just have everything set the way you want, just click and drop it into place, and then just drag down until you want to complete your ladder. And there you have it. Dropping in a ladder that quick and easy. Now that I got a fresh ladder in here, I want to be able to put in a PLC card. So to do that, I'm going to come over here and select Insert PLC Parametric. Electrical has a very nice and very extensive database of PLC cards out there and available, Here I'll just show you the list of, these are all the different manufacturers that are available with AutoCAD Electrical 2017. I realize most of you, if you use only a select few of these, you do not have to install every single manufacturer. I just install all the manufacturers on my system so I can show you guys exactly what all is out there to work with. So I'm just going to select this Allen Bradley series, and let's go with the Micro 810 combination cards, and it'll pull up a list of all the different combination cards that are available in the program. And I'm going to select this one and say OK. And I just have to click where I want it to go on my ladder and let it fill out everything accordingly. So I'm going to say insert all, or you do have the option to allow spacers and breaks. So if you have a particularly large module, you can break it and put it on another page or on another ladder. But in this case, I don't need to. I'm going to say insert all, and I'm going to say include my extra connections as well. I'll go ahead and say go. Give it a rack and a slot number. Let it fill it out. Then I need to pick my addressing. So that's my addressing style I want to use. And say OK. So I'm going to continue without a break. The card already had a predefined breakpoint associated with it. So, and there you can see it drops my card in, does all of my addressing for me. If I were to come in and edit this component, I then have the ability to go in and assign different description text for every single different attribute point. All the information comes across just the way I want. Everything is looking good. So it's really just that quick and easy to come in and do PLC cards. I mean, it's a very simple process. As you can see, there are a ton of different cards out there and available for you to work with. So I'm going to do some cleanup here. I'm going to trim some wires. I'm going to type F for fence, which will allow me to trim multiple wires at once. Then trim all these and get them out of the way. So I want to be able to continue my wire numbers from these to this section over here. In order to do that, I'm going to use my source and arrow signal. So once I select source arrow, I just have to, oops, I already have the sources actually. I just need to put in destination arrow. I'm going to select the wire end where I want my destination to go, which is going to be this top wire here. And it's going to say pick a code, which I can pick from my project list, but I'm just going to hit pick right here because I know it's this source right there. And it continues that code on through. Put in destination arrow here. Pick that one there. So it's actually the wire type on this wire from my source is different than the destination, and it will flag you of that and say, hey, do you want to update this? I'm going to say, yeah, let's go. That's good. Let's go ahead and update this right now. So just one of those nice little error checking things that takes place in the background that it's not foolproof, but it really will help you clean up some of those issues and make them less common for you. So as you can see, it continues my wire numbers on through just the way I would like it to. So once you're finished putting in your schematic with all your different tools, again, realize I am just glossing over the very minimal, the top surface of these. I mean, there's things for rearranging, say I want like the scoop command, I want to be able to rearrange a component. I can scoop the entire component like so, and it rearranges, or it keeps track of everything for me, makes it all nice and clean, beautiful, moving components, all these different options that are out there and available for me. So, but I want to jump over next to my PLC, or not PLC, my panel drawing, sorry. I want to add some stuff to the panel drawing. One of the reasons that I was such a stickler when we first, at the very beginning here, when I was talking about putting in catalog information when we were inserting components from the icon menu, is it uses that information to then pick the correct footprint to put into your panel footprint drawings. So I'm going to go to my panel tab here. So, and I have the ability to come into the icon menu and select a component. And then once I do, I need to pick a catalog information. Or instead, since I've already done all of that work, what I can actually do is if I come down here under icon menu, I have the ability to pull up components from my schematic list. And now in this case, I know I'm working from my operator station 3. So I can go to named location and pull from my location list here, operator station 3. So this will literally only show me components that just have the location tag of operator station 3 on them. Again, like I mentioned before, it keeps your drawing nice and neat, and this is one of the things it really helps with when you fill out that information in advance. So once I select them all, I'm going to go ahead and run this list. As you can see, it very quickly returns to me a list of every single component within my project that has that location code. So then some of these already exist on my drawing, so I can actually come in and just say mark existing, and it'll mark them with a nice X here, and then I can say hide the existing. So now it is literally showing me only components that need to go on my operator station that have that location code but do not appear on my drawing yet. So I'm going to actually select these two push buttons here and insert them at the same time. So once I select them, you can do a shift select here to select as many components as you want, but I just want these two, and I can select the insert button here, and it's automatically going to use the footprint lookup tables that the program has built within it. So it's all just a database running in the background that tells the component, oh, hey, use this catalog number. I want you to use this panel footprint for it. So I can rearrange the order and use uniform spacing. I don't need to do that in this case, but I am going to suppress the edit dialog box. I'm just going to say, put the block in and link it back automatically. So I can go ahead and say OK to this. It's going to search through my database till it finds a footprint that matches my catalog record. Once I click and drop it into place, it's then going to say, all right, what about the next one? And it found that block very quickly as well, and I can drop both of those into place. Now, if I close this and come over here and actually edit this footprint, you will see it's already linked back to the parent component, complete with tag information, description text. It's all linked together. So I could come in now in my icon menu, say I want to put in a nameplate. Let's do a catalog lookup for a nameplate here. Let's select this one from Alan Bradley. And then I have to select my objects that I want to assign nameplates to, and hit enter. And it will go ahead and open up the edit dialog box so I can edit the text on that right here if I wanted. That's just fine, so I can say OK, there and there. Obviously my spacing's a little off, so let's go ahead and move this down and out of the way. And as you can see, it goes ahead and puts in a nice little nameplate that also becomes linked to this parent, or to the panel footprint, which is all linked back to the schematic block. It just keeps everything nice, neat, and orderly and linked together across the various components. So, and actually one of the nice little features we have inside of AutoCAD Electrical is this command. It's called a surfer utility. What the surfer utility basically does is it allows you to select a component, and it will show you everything else that is linked to that particular component and allow you to access it quickly and easily. So as you can see, I selected this block here, and so it shows me with the hashtag here that lets me know it's a panel footprint. P lets me know that this is the parent block. Very simply, I can just double click on it and go right to it. It will take me to the block, zoom me right in on the block, say at this point in time I wanted to edit the block, and I don't know, change the catalog number. Let's do a quick catalog lookup to change it. change its color to red. So at this point in time, that catalog number had an item number assigned to it. It's going to say, hey, that's assigned to a different one. It should be reassigned, and it just strips out the item number for me. That's perfectly fine. So I can say OK to that. And now it's going to go, hey, you've got some panel symbols over here that are linked to this. Should we update them? I'm going to say, go ahead and update now. It'll take me to that block, and it'll update that block, which you can see by going back to here. Notice it's no longer green. It's now marked as a red push button. Other than that, the footprint symbol is basically the same because we're talking about a 30.5 millimeter push button. They all have basically the same footprint. So, but it did change the text and updated everything according to the values that of the new catalog information. So I'm going to go over my drawing here. One thing that we didn't really talk about in here, but you do have terminal numbers, or terminals that you can put into the block, obviously, and managing those terminals can be a harrowing process if you're doing everything manually. Electrical has some tools to make that all go nice and easy. And in that case, first thing I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go in, throw in a den rail here real fast because I need some place to put my terminal block after I get it all edited the way I want it to be. So I can select from my different type of den rails. I'm just going to pick my rail information here and drop it into place right there. I am going to increase the scale because the overall scale of this drawing has been increased from the other components that have been put in. So once that rail is put into place, I can give it a component tag. It's got catalog information. It will all show up on my bill of materials report just the way I want it to. So, but what I really want to do is I'm going to come over here to my terminal footprint editor. It's going to save my drawing, and it's going to read all of my, it's going to read my database for all the terminal blocks that appear on my drawing anywhere. So, and I got to see what's been used already. So I'm just going to select this terminal block right here, or this, and select Edit. So added some extra terminals because it said, hey, there are too many wires connected to these terminals. So we went ahead and added some extra terminals to your terminal block. So, but as you can see in here, we have our terminal block, and it shows us what device it's going from, what device it's going to. There is a catalog code assignment, so you can see exactly what the catalog information is for that particular terminal strip. So we have cable information also associated here. It gives you a ton of different information, and along with the information, you also have the ability to come in here and rearrange things. So say you want to reassign a terminal to a different terminal strip, or renumber all your terminals, or move a particular terminal. Very simple to do. Just select Move Terminal. And it's going to say, all right, where do you want to do with that? So I have the ability to move it up or move it down along my chain, however I want it to go. I can insert spare terminals, or so if you want to have the ability to grow, you need some spare terminals in your block, you can do that. You also have the insert accessories for things like end barriers and whatnot. So, but in this case, what I want to show you is I'm going to go to my Layout Preview tab here. So, and it will actually give me a layout preview of exactly what that the panel footprint of that terminal block would look like. I am going to get rid of the annotation information here and update this just to clean it up a little bit. So you also have the ability to do a tabular terminal strip, which is basically just the exact same table you've seen on the terminal strip tab here. And you can do a jumper chart from here as well. Again, all configurable to meet your standards, whatever you might need with additional pieces of information on here. So I am going to change my insert scale to 2 so it matches my den rail. So, and I can just say insert. and then very simply drop into place like so, and done. Okay. So it's going to go update all those terminals where they exist in other places. And as you can see, it drops my terminals in for me, very nice and neat. Automatically has a nice little wipeout built into these terminals, so I don't have to see the DIN rail sitting behind it and clutter up my drawing even further. So it just handles it all nice, quick, easy, and neat. All right, so the next thing I wanted to show you is our reporting tab and getting reports out of AutoCAD Electrical. By and large, most customers I talk to say when it comes to electrical, the tools inside of electrical help increase my drafting time by about 10%. The reporting tools inside of electrical increase my productivity vastly superior to that. They say the biggest chunk of time savings they get is from the reporting tools that are available inside of AutoCAD Electrical. So, and in the reporting tools, we have some options here. We have schematic reports and we have panel reports. So I'm going to go ahead and run a schematic report real fast here. So, and let's run the most common report you guys are going to see, and that will be my bill of materials report. I have the ability to do it over my whole project or just over an active drawing. But I am going to select over my whole project here. Can tell it, I've got some other options here. I can turn on terminal numbers and whatnot. So we can go in a tallied format or a tallied purchase list format. We can group by installation location code, but I'm going to go with a purchase list format here, which basically means it'll group all of my manufacturers together so that when I'm going to place orders, I know here's all the parts I have from Allen Bradley, here's all the parts I have from Siemens. So I can select all and tell it to process. Once it processes my whole report here, you can see here's my list of report. It's got all my tags, quantity, manufacturer, description. I then have some formatting options I can do here, and every single report you run will drop into this report generator dialog box, which will allow you to edit what you want to do with that data after it's returned that data to you. So in this case, you do have the edit mode, which will allow you to come in here and edit individual lines or add from a catalog. You do have the ability to put on a drawing or save to a file, and you can also print it as well. You can change the report format to add fields or remove fields based upon what you want to do with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and select save to file here, and you can see the different export options we have. So we have just a simple ASCII text file. We have an Excel spreadsheet. We have an Access database, an XML file, and a CSV file. I always like to say those file formats, they're so generic, there's so many different generic ones there, that it doesn't matter what accounting software your company uses, you will be able to export a file directly for them that they can just insert depending on what sort of formatting you need for it. But in this case, I'm just going to go with an Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to say OK. It's going to say, all right, where do you want to save this at? And I'm going to save this. I created a folder just for it on my desktop. In my reports folder, and save that report. So it's going to say, hey, do you want to run the script, which will just some script programming that'll clean up or change some information on the report. I don't really need to. So you also have the option for putting the report on a drawing, but let's see what it looks like, what that Excel file looks like. So I'm going to open up my report, and as you can see, very nice, neat, clean report with column headers, all the information you need from within your entire project. So I'm going to go back to electrical here, and I'm actually going to close this. Now, I'm going to go back to my previous drawing here. So since this is just operator station 3, you do have the ability to include or to run a bill of materials report, as you can see right here, just for that particular station. So if I go into reports, again, I'm going to run a bill of materials report. Again, I have the option of choosing my location code. I can say operator station 3 here and go. I just do a normal tallied format, process all my drawings, and then I can say put on my drawing. So once I select put on drawing, it then will open up this column, which will allow me to choose my table style, what type of table I want to insert, whether I want to include time and date information, any of these additional pieces of information. It's an 87-line report, so it's going to be kind of large here. So I'm just going to go ahead and say OK and drop it off to the side. As you can see right here. Once I hit close, zoom over here, and you see there's my entire report just for operator station 3 of all the various components that appear on the schematic side of it. So besides the reporting tools, like I said, there are a bunch of different reports here. You have missing bill of materials, components from 2, wire labels really commonly ran, terminal plan, terminal numbers. So besides these reporting tools, on the Reports tab, there's this nice little electrical audit command. What the electrical audit command does is basically comes in and it searches your project for a list of common mistakes and errors to show up. So I can expand out my details list here, and I can see I've got a bunch of wires that have no connections on them. So I can just double click on that wire and it'll take me directly to it. So, and yep, here I've just got this wire that's got nothing connected to it. So I could minimize this, actually take this report, just kind of get it out of the way here, go to my schematic tab, go to my icon menu, and say terminals and connectors. I'm just going to put this dumb terminal right here. So now if I were to close that report, go back to my electrical audit, as soon as you select the electrical audit here, it reruns it, and you can see it's now cleared up that issue. That wire missing a connection point is no longer an issue for me. Any place there is an issue, though, you will see this nice red X here, very nice for telling you, hey, you got a bunch of components that are missing bill of materials reports. If it's a non-issue, you can always just select any of them and right-click and say mark as an issue or mark as ignored. So it does give you the ability to say, no, that's not really an issue, even though you think it is. So we can just skip right past it and move on. So AutoCAD Electrical provides you a wealth of tools for being able to simplify your design process and also to catch or help you with error checking on the back side of the drawing. So let me show you one last thing here real fast, and that is the title block update, which is usually the bane of existence to most people, and that is because you have to open up every single page, type in all your fields, fill out your information, go on to the next page. It can become very monotonous and mind-numbing in a very short period of time. So the very first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to right-click on my project, and I'm going to come down to the Descriptions tab. So in my Descriptions tab here, I have a list of just common things that I want to fill into that are the same for every single drawing in my project. So I'm going to change my date here to 9/22. You know what? I checked my own work. Seems like sound engineering policies here. So I can go ahead and say OK to that. Once I've updated all of those properties, now it's just a matter of pushing that information to my drawings, and I can do that by either right-clicking on my project and coming down here and selecting Title Block Update, or I can get to the same thing through the Project tab in my ribbon interface. So I'm going to go ahead and select Title Block Update, and I'm going to say what fields I want to process, and I just very simply can say select all. I want to do my drawing description. I want to do my full file name with extension and everything. Update my drawing value, my sheet value, my sheet maximum. I am going to change my sheet maximum to 0.9 though, because I like it. It's clean. And I'm going to resequence all of my sheet values starting from 0.1. So at this point in time, I can then just say OK project wide. If I hadn't checked this resequence sheet values, I could process just one drawing at a time. But as soon as I tell it I want to resequence my entire project sheet values, I then have to do it project-wide, which is perfectly fine by me. I can go ahead and say, okay, process, and let it go. Then it's just a matter of sitting back for a few minutes, waiting for it to go ahead and copy all the pieces of information from each drawing, one after another. So if I open up drawing 5 over here, you'll see there's my new information copied across for me, just that quick and easy. There is some setup work to be done in the background. We go over all of that in our training classes if you are interested in that. But it is a very simple and easy process to get set up. It's not difficult, not that difficult at all. So that is my presentation on AutoCAD Electrical and some of the features and abilities that the program has to help you in your day-to-day work. Let's go fly over to the questions real fast here to see if there are any. It looks like there are no questions, but now would be the time. If you guys have any questions, you can either just use the raise hand button or to let me know there's a question incoming, and then just type the question in the question section of your GoToWebinar window.
Couple questions while people are typing in their questions. One of them is, does everyone need AutoCAD Electrical to view these drawings?
Oh, excellent point. No, everyone doesn't need AutoCAD Electrical. Underneath it all, this drawing, all your drawings are just simply DWG files, as you can see from this demo05.dwg right here. So anybody who can open up and view an AutoCAD drawing file, which is pretty much everybody, will be able to open up and view your AutoCAD Electrical drawings.
Okay, what about, can I add my own catalog information for maybe part numbers, or and can those show up on a drawing?
So the catalog information is, and actually we had another question from Timothy. He wanted to know if it was something we create or something we grab from the internet. So it's not something you grab from the internet. Basically, the catalog is a database that comes pre-installed with AutoCAD Electrical, but you do have the ability to add your own information to it. It's very simply, it's a Microsoft Access database, or it can be a SQL database now with 2017, depending on which you choose. So, but you can come in here, say if I go to Edit Component, go to Lookup. Gotta minimize this and get it out of the way here. So you do have the ability to edit this catalog database to add new lines of, or add new pieces of information. Just scroll down to the bottom and you can type in your catalog information to be whatever you want it to be, or you can edit a pre-existing thing just by double-clicking in the file or in the column and typing in that information from there. So, Timothy, hopefully that resolved your question. But yeah, it comes pre-installed with the program, and anything that's not in the program, you just go in and add it. Again, either through AutoCAD Electrical or through a Microsoft Access.
Another quick question. So you've been doing ladder diagrams. Is there any tools within AutoCAD Electrical more for an individual that does maybe point-to-point schematics?
So there are there are. I didn't show them because overwhelmingly the majority of our people normally are just ladder schematics, but there are point-to-point wiring commands out there and available. My voice is dying on me here. So, but they are out there and available on the schematic tab here. We have the ability to put in plug and jack connectors. So, and then once you put those connectors in, there is the ability to then wire that up using the multiple bus command here. It becomes very easy to just say, we're going to go from another component for multiple wires, and I can just do a window select around all those wires and transfer them off to wherever I need to go.
Great. Okay. Again, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Again, if you have questions that come up, you can reach out to us. Again, if there's nothing else, Chad, unless you had anything else to report.
Nope, that's everything from me. So thank you guys for coming and giving me some of your precious time to see our product.
All right, thank you.